Monday, March 28th, it is the Cardboard Consultant Show. And of course, I'm Aram, joined by Kendall and T. Kendall, shout out, wearing the Just Baseball hat right now. T, it's okay. You look wonderfully sophisticated right now, which is important. That's what you're here to do. And we're going to talk about what is probably the most jacked up I've been for a checklist ever for this 2022 Bowman product that's about to come out. I still need you guys to explain some things to me, like what is first edition versus just the regular Bowman baseball that's coming out right after that, and why. I know we talked about it in the past. Is it worth it to spend a little bit extra for that little first edition label? We'll talk a little bit about that. The players we're most excited to target in this checklist because it's loaded. A little bit of what we're picking up, like we always do talk about, and then some redemption conversation because that seems to be a controversial aspect of the hobby as well. But boys, how are we doing so far? I mean, that checklist just fired me up.
Oh yeah, it's an outstanding checklist, and I think it's a good product to talk about the difference between the first edition and then the regular set. Typically, it's just a bold-faced no for me to buy the first edition, but this one there's some caveats to it, so it's interesting.
Yeah, and it's not pitcher heavy, which is nice. There's a lot of quality product in here. Gives us a great window into kind of what the 2022 just Bowman flagship product's going to look like. And then you know, once that rolls around in April, you also get to throw in the Wander rookies, the O'Neill Cruz rookie card. It's going to be the 2022 flagship's going to be a special product. It's a breaker's dream, really.
It really is. And these are some of the names, if people have been listening and tuning into us since the beginning, some of the names are guys that from my prospect analysis side, I kept asking you guys, when is Curtis Mead going to get a card? When is Jackenzinoel going to get a card? Both those guys, excuse me, are in this checklist here and are getting their first card. Also, Alan Serta, there are a lot of other names that Just Baseball on the media side, and I'm just the serious prospect analysis cards aside, those are guys that I think us as a publication are higher on than the rest of the industry. So we've been waiting. I've been chomping at the bit, and I'm always talking to you guys about prospects I like, whether it's from a baseball standpoint or from a card standpoint. Those guys have been guys that I've been trying to hunt from a card standpoint. And I know right now T is throwing some bids in for me to try to get me some spots and breaks. But for the average collector that, is trying to get into it, I get a lot of messages of people that are like, okay, certain players that I really like are making me want to get into this thing. And let's say that some of them are in this checklist, right? Like a bunch of people want to get Curtis Mead or Jackenzinoel or whoever. What's the best way to go about it? I mean, there's so many good players in this checklist that, you could go buy the whole box and just see what happens. You could also just wait for people to pull the cards and buy the individual cards, but we don't really know what a normal price point is yet because the market has to set itself. Or is it better to just buy the specific teams or player names in the break? I'll start with T on this one. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, it kind of depends, obviously, on the individual. Are you just after a certain player? Then maybe this player auction that we're seeing up on Cheap Fun Breaks is a good option for you. You can go in and find your specific guy and go after him. For me, I personally would love to just kind of rip a box, and there's so many good players in here that are worth stashing that would kind of be my preferred method. I think you're looking at around, I think they came out at about 400 a box. Is that right, Kendall? I can't remember exactly.
Yeah.
I would imagine they're probably going for a little bit more right now. And that price will probably continue to rise a little bit. But if it were
right now on Cardboard Consultants, they are 500.
Cardboard.
Cardboard Connection. So.
I was like, we're already growing, huh? We've got a website now just for the. I mean, we have the collectibles vertical.
That was my way of saying you can buy one for me.
No, I mean we'll start calling the collectibles vertical Cardboard Consultant soon enough, and we'll just reference ourselves in third person. But I that's the question. I think the boxes aren't that expensive, but it's because only one autograph comes in the Bowman baseball, right?
And it's all paper.
Actually, the autographs for this are like 1 out of every 11 boxes, I think.
Yeah, see, I'm good on that.
So it's just really, you're after that stamp on there for the first edition. Oddly enough, the autos don't have the stamp, at least what we've seen pictures of the early pictures of the product. So that's kind of confusing. But some of these big name guys, once they come out and you get some parallels of them, the card values are going to be there. It's going to be, you're going to see some decent return. Let's say right now, I think for that auction that I was talking about, it's a 20 box auction. I think Serta is priced at $40 right now. So I'd imagine if you hit something like a nice parallel of Serta, you're gonna easily get your money back. So
what's Ellie priced at right now?
I think he's at $400.
Jeez.
Well,
so for reference, that's
paper...
Ellie De La Cruz of the Cincinnati Reds. And for those who might be like, whoa, there's a guy that's going for 150 or 400 now. And I don't even know who he is. How am I going to get into this hobby? That's just because this is a dude that is already a lot of helium here. Probably, I kept saying he's everything Jason Dominguez was like kind of supposed to be in terms of the tools. I'm not saying that in the past tense because like Dominguez is cooked. I'm saying it like he's the plus runner. He's the guy that hits the ball 113 miles an hour, switch hitter, does all the little things. It's just like, can he hit enough? And that's the big question. He's a big risk, but the upside is immense. And we're already seeing people pile on to him. But what usually happens is then you get the guys like Curtis Mead, who with the Rays is a can't miss, in my opinion. Like the guy just hits, and he's in a great organization. And I mean, I've never seen a minor leaguer. I can't remember the last time I've seen a minor leaguer fast tracked the way that Curtis Mead has been fast tracked all the way to AAA after no season in 2020. Like the Rays are extremely confident in this guy. And like, that's a guy I'm targeting because it's cheaper, safer, and he could be an impact big leaguer. He's got a plus hit tool. So that's the cool thing about this. But what it seems to boil down to circle back and tie a bow on the first edition versus just the flagship product is that you're really chasing the most valuable version of their base card, right? Like you're not chasing the autograph, you're chasing the rarest base card essentially, right? Like, or the most valuable base card, unless you pull a 101 or out of 50, you know what I'm saying? But like, is that the best way to kind of encapsulate this first edition? You're really going after the most valuable and most unique base card. But if you're chasing the autos, wait for the flagship product, which will come out on April 27th.
Yeah, I'm actually not very excited about the auto checklist in this product. I mean, Curtis Mead is probably the most appealing auto, which, I mean, it's fair. His auto is appealing. But there's not a whole lot of guys there that I'm really excited about. But the auto checklist in the actual Bowman Baseball 22, I'm really excited about. But the typical chase that I think is here is those first edition prospectors die cuts. Those I sent one to our group chat where it looks like a gold nugget, like the Khalil Watson.
Yeah, those
gold
are cool.
Nugget one. That's the chase in this product.
Really?
It's 1 out of every 1,500 packs.
Oh
so I mean, it's pretty rare. And they're out of 50. And there's only 5 names that are in there. It's Khalil, George Valera, Colson Montgomery, Averson Arteaga.
Yeah, Arteaga from
and James Wood. So
okay.
I mean, you're really chasing that Watson there, I think. But I think that's the typical card that everybody's like going nuts over. But this seems to be like a flipper product to me. And I talked about this with Paul Hickey last week, and it seems like it's just a product that people are getting into and then quickly going to eBay with the first cards. And like,
because you can set the market value kind of like we were talking about.
I mean, a base, I tried to buy a base first Ellie yesterday, and it went for $40.
Yeah, that's wild. And it'll go way down. Like Marcelo Meyer, I think his base now sells for like $7 or $10 of the first edition. And they were way above that, when the 2021 first came out. Yeah. So I wouldn't rush to buy at all. But I mean, again, Marcelo's like gold parallel first edition is still like a $400, $500 card. It's still gonna I mean, you're gonna find some heat in here. One of the guys I'm interested in hearing from you, Aram, is James Wood.
Yeah.
I'm looking at this auction again. It's 20 boxes, okay, of the product, but he's going for, last I looked, let me see it real quick, $730. Now he has an auto, I believe, in the product.
He does.
Yeah.
But still, and so I'm technically, you might get out of 20 boxes one auto, because it's one out of every 11 boxes. Hopefully they get more than that, but
God, that's bad.
I mean, talk to me about him as a player, first of all. This guy he's the highest priced guy on this list, or where he's the highest priced guy in the bidding so far. Ellie might catch him, but still, James Wood, second round guy, tall, O'Neal Cruz-esque.
Very tall. Is
he like him in any way?
Yeah, I mean, he's really like a first round guy to me. What was interesting about the way the Padres, if I remember correctly, the way they approached that draft, first round they go Jackson Merrill, who I think that's who it was, and they went under slot with that first round pick. I know that for a fact. And going under slot a little bit with the first round pick allowed them to go over slot with the second. They gave James Wood late first round money. He's a freak, IMG Academy guy down here in South Florida that just pumps, I guess kind of South Florida, Tampa area, pumps out talent. But he has a long way to go. Like, he's super tall, he's long, he's a little bit slow. The power is immense. And I think that's why we see what we've seen in terms of the hype, because he hit bombs on the showcase circuit in big league stadiums, and the sound off his bat is different. And there's a lot to like. But if I'm picking in terms of high risk, high reward, him or Ellie De La Cruz, I'm going with Ellie De La Cruz.
Absolutely.
And that's kind of what it boils down to me, right? Is like, you got to put these guys, even though they're all individuals, you got to put them in profiles and in buckets, right? And for me, in a prospecting side of things, him and James Wood and Ellie De La Cruz are both high risk, high reward prospects. Give me the guy that's a plus runner who hits the ball just as hard as James Wood, which is the craziest part. I think Wood could be great. I am impressed with his bat to ball skills, as I said in our write-up with the Padres system. It's further along than I thought it would be. But I mean, Ellie De La Cruz is a different level of athletic freak. And if those guys are the same price, give me the guy that has the 5-tool potential. That's just how I look at it. But I really think that we get really excited about the most high upside guy in a checklist and almost forget about how he compares to other high risk guys and other checklists. Like, I'm sure James Wood will settle back down quite a bit pretty soon, but because he's one of the few exciting names in that checklist in terms of like all-star upside, we're seeing that price just run.
Yeah.
But if you look at his numbers, even in the complex league, it wasn't. I mean, this WRC plus is really high, which I don't really understand, but he had over 30%
Yeah, no, he's raw. Like, he's as raw as it gets. And that's why if you're investing in him, I mean, you're going to be sitting on that for a couple years before I even think really you're going to see much of it.
Does he end up at first?
And there's a good chance he ends up.
I mean, he reminds me of Alvarez just looking at him, but I don't know if I haven't watched enough.
He's a monster.
We don't talk about the complex league. You know that.
Yeah. We don't talk too much about the complex league. But
I will say striking out 31% in the complex league is not good.
That's definitely worth noting.
Because if you're already striking out that much against those pitchers.
Where can we
ask you about one more guy? Sorry, real quick. One more guy. And I'm going to butcher his name because I'm terrible. Edius Leonard for the Dodgers. He's in this product right now. He's priced out in the auction at around $30. I think Baseball America, do they have him within their top 10? I don't know. When I looked at his production specifically, I think he's progressed up to high A. I could be wrong.
No, he has. Yes.
But looked like he had some decent numbers. Yeah. And a decent price tag. I'm kind of wondering, is that a guy that you would ever target?
Yeah. So you remember when we talked about like Luis Rodriguez with the Dodgers and like how his card goes for so much. And I was at the card show recently, of course, we're at Culture Collision, and I was shocked at how many Luis Rodriguez cards there were. And I figured, it's just the Dodgers effect, right? A high-priced international free agent Dodgers effect. Eddie's Leonard has been better with the Dodgers, has already performed at the high A level. Like, sure, there's some questions as to whether he'll stick it short. I don't think he'll stick it short. That doesn't really matter from a card standpoint. If you play the infield and you mash, I mean, yes, I would prefer that he's the shortstop because that's kind of the star-studded position. But if he plays second or third and mashes through the minor leagues, that card is still going to appreciate quite well. Eddie Leonard is a hitter, man, and he's got power, and that's a guy that I keep getting questions about. And honestly, he is way further along in his development than I thought he would be. The numbers on the season between low A and high A, 297, 390, 539. And he hit 22 home runs between those two levels in 107 games. Didn't strike out an egregious amount. I really think this guy could be an impact bat for this Dodgers system. I'm expecting him to repeat high A, but he could be in double A by a couple months into the season. And all of a sudden now we're talking about a consensus top 100 guy. I think he was one of those dudes that was really impacted by the lack of 2020 because he had not played above rookie ball yet. So nobody really saw him at all up until this year. And he would just exploded and kind of bursted onto the scene, but he's in a system that is so loaded that he got a little bit buried. This is a unique guy that I think should have more hype and doesn't, which is ironic because he's in a system with a team that generally gets overhyped. So it's a really weird situation.
Well, you convinced me. I'm going to go bid on him.
And where can we see the checklist, by the way, for the Bowman baseball flagship product?
It'll come out later.
Yeah, it's not out yet.
How do we know what autos are going to be? Like, do we have any idea?
That's why it's not out yet, is because all those redemptions, they're trying to figure out who's going to go in as a redemption and who's going to go in as an auto, because those players haven't returned their autos yet.
Because the one thing that stands out to me is that I feel like this first edition list, at least, and not the autos, I'm just talking about the players that they've added in, because remember, a lot of these guys didn't have a Bowman card, period.
Yeah.
They didn't have anything. So I feel like a lot of these names, like Ellie De La Cruz, for example, he's probably got to have an auto in the next product in the flagship, right? I mean, like, some of these guys are some of the most exciting prospect names, and now we're seeing them in the first edition. I feel like they've got to be in consideration for this Bowman baseball flagship product, right? Because we also talk about Khalil Watson. I mean, offensively, this is a guy I saw with my own eyes on the backfields a couple weeks ago, not even a week ago. He's special. And like, that's a guy that's going to be one of the big names being chased in the checklists. But even like the George Valeras, like, do we think Valera will have an auto? Probably, right? Like, I'm assuming that all of these guys that are first getting their Bowman look in this first edition, I'm assuming the plan is for at least a majority of them to have an autograph in the Bowman baseball flagship, right? Like, what do we think?
Yeah. It's usually when you see a guy that's not brand new to the minor league system get a Bowman product, he's going to have an auto with it as well.
Yeah.
And so I would expect most of the guys that we're looking for are going to have autos, unless there's something there even could be redemption stuff come out. And that's, I think we're going to kind of talk about what that looks like later. And because what if they don't turn in their redemptions and what that looks like. But I also wanted to point out there's some top 10 names, just general there's a guy in this product named Warming.
Warming.
I mean, there's a guy named Pie Warming. I mean, top 10 names, guys. Come on.
A whole name list. Yeah, you're right. We need to do a deeper dive.
Yeah, we need to do I want to know
another Max Muncie.
Yeah, another Max Muncie.
There is another Max Muncie, and he's good. He's good. He's a first round guy.
Like another Jose Rodriguez. There's 4 of them currently on Fangraphs. You've got to figure out which one it is.
You think someone's gonna buy? Like, someone out there's got to buy the wrong Julio Rodriguez and
absolutely,
and just think they got a deal, right?
But it's the same way with like what's his name? So Wander Franco, obviously his brothers or who I don't even know if they're related, but obviously all of the other Wander Francos that are also in the minor leagues, I don't think they have cards, but
There's other
if you're
Wander
in,
Francos.
oh yeah, there's like 4, but you can pick them up in fan tracks. Like you could pick up the wrong guy.
Oh
which
yeah,
is hilarious.
So
But
a few other names before we move on to the redemption side of things. A few other names that I really like that are getting their first edition cards, if I'm not mistaken, for the first time, which I think is super exciting. I mean, we mentioned Curtis Mead. We mentioned Khalil Watson being in the set. Jackenzinoel is a freak.
Oh, I love Noel.
He is a freak show. And we just did the Guardian system.
Yeah.
And I like, it was so angering to me that I couldn't put Jackenzinoel in the top 10. It's a testament to the Guardian system and how loaded they are. Jackenzinoel would be a top 10 prospect in, I would say, 20 out of 30 systems. He's a little bit limited defensively. He reminds me a lot of Franmil Reyes, but I think he might even end up having even more pop. He walks out. Okay, he looks the part. Like he looks like a grown ass man at like 25 years old, even though he's only 21. He wears the big chains. He walks out to 50 Cent, and he hit 2 balls back to back. I saw this with my own eyes.
So was he Eloy Jimenez?
Eloy is another good comp. Back-to-back ABs, 113, 115 mile per hour home runs.
Let's go.
I mean, this guy's got
Noel.
Different kind of power. And like, that's a guy I am so excited to scoop up. But even some of the lesser names, and by lesser, I just mean like not as well known, but like a Yankees name that I think could be interesting. Oswaldo Cabrera. Like, take a look at how many home runs that guy hit last year. Finally just got the ball in the air a bit more and added a little bit of strength. Like, that's a guy that's really exciting. George Valera, a top 50 prospect for us at Just Baseball, especially in our 2022 update. But then even some of the maybe guys that you're not hunting, but like if I pull a auto out of 150 or out of 100 out of like, or I can't say his name right, and Jack will kill me because he played for the Fort Wayne Tin Caps, but Angeles, Euribio Angeles, like that's a guy that is could hit 300. Like he has insane bat to ball, like really good ball player that like, if that's a guy I'm scooping up and I was like, I wasn't even hunting him and I pulled him, like I'm happy. Like there's a lot of irons.
I'm really excited. I'm really excited to get a Dustin Harris card.
Yes. Dustin Harris is another one. That's a guy that's a top 100 prospect for us in the update towards the back end, but like guy mashes and he'll be big league ready probably at some point this season. We talked about Eddie's Leonard. I mean, you look across the whole checklist here, at least in the first edition, and you got to figure, I mean, all of these guys are going to have base cards in the next set. Like I'm happy collecting a lot of these dudes' base cards because they are really good ball players. A lot of these guys have high upside. One to really look out for too, a guy that I saw and a guy that I've talked to Marlins officials and Marlins development guys in their system. They love Ian Lewis, and Ian Lewis is a guy in their system that is really exciting. He's in this first edition checklist. I wouldn't be surprised to see him get an autograph as well, because I know the Marlins are really excited about what he's doing over there. So, I mean, there's just so many exciting cards, and we're probably missing some. Are there any other names that you guys are excited about in this checklist before we move on to the redemption conversation? Obviously, Alan Cerda too, who we mentioned a little bit earlier.
I mean, I'm excited about Jack Leiter. I mean, he's a pitcher.
Oh, true. He's in this.
Is he?
Is he? No, he's not in this, I don't think.
He'll be in the Bowman flagship, though. He's not in this one.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I hope he's in the Bowman flagship.
Yeah, right?
I mean that's why. Yeah, that's true. You pulled him out of. He's that second overall pick, so he pulled out a draft. So like you would just assume that him and Khalil are going to be the ones that are leading that draft class in Bowman 22. But I mean, yeah, I don't think he's on here.
So pitchers generally don't go for anything, right? Well, we know that. But when it comes to someone like Jack Leiter, who has hundreds of thousands of followers on social media, who has the father's, name behind him in terms of what his father achieved in the big leagues, has the hype as a guy that threw a no-hitter for Vanderbilt, who was just one of the most electrifying collegiate pitchers we've seen in a long time. I mean, that's a guy that if you pull that, are you selling it or are you holding it? Knowing that, everybody's extremely high on him. We're extremely high on him. As a pitcher though, Are you
I think
selling
two
that?
of the three of us would hold it.
Yeah. I think one of the three of us. I know.
No, I think two. I think Aram would hold it.
I would hold it, but you know why I would hold it. I mean, like he's going to be on the call.
I mean, he's
next
really
week.
close to us at Just Baseball, so I think that two of us would hold it. One, because I'm a diehard Rangers fan, got my Pudge shirt on, got to do it. And then Aram and Jack are just close, and then T, you're just a piece of crap, so you're going to sell it.
So let's hear the rationale. Why? Like, I get it, but like, if I'm a Rangers fan, I'm not selling it. I personally am, friendly with Jack Leiter and rooting for him, and he's going to come on the podcast next week. So like, I'd feel like an asshole selling his card. It's the same thing with Griffin. I have Griffin's Bowman Chrome Auto, Griffin Conine out of 5. And even though he struck out a ton last year, like he hit 36 home runs, and I bought that card before the season. Value, I've got it for like $100 and something bucks. Now it's going for way more than that. Like, I could probably flip it for 5x, 6x profit, but I don't feel right doing it. I won't do it. Like, if he struggles, like I struggle with him, I'm holding on to the card. I just like would feel horrible if I sold it and he's in the big leagues, makes an all-star game, and he goes, yo, like, what's the card worth now?
The only person you can sell to is his dad. That's the only person. And
his dad, Jeff, can't fathom that those cards are worth that much. But anyway,
because I digress. Jeff card is worthless.
His card is worthless. Why would you sell Jack Leiter?
I just think that people were wanting a Jack Leiter card in the draft product. They didn't get it. Now it's coming. His market's going to be nuts when they first start coming out. And he's a pitcher. I don't think that the market is going to I don't think we're going to see it steadily increase all that much over time. I think when you pull it, it's probably going to be the highest it's going to be for a long time. So for that reason only, purely from a financial standpoint, I think it would be wise to sell.
That is
fair. I probably would sell one that if I pulled
I'm keeping one though, for sure. I'm keeping some.
Okay. I would probably sell it and then buy it back later when it depreciates. That's
the thing and I think that's a good point, right? You have the pent up excitement, which is kind of similar to what we see with just any time there's we talk about it with James Wood, just like the pent up excitement as Kendall gets a nice little delivery there. Man, how do I get the in episode deliveries? I
gotta get married on.
I gotta get married. Yeah. All right. That's all it takes. Get married, and I can get in-episode deliveries of coffee because that was sick. That was really
cool. So there's Javi's bad take on marriage is a sham. There he is.
Yeah, we have a guy on our staff who says marriage is a sham. Yeah, that I feel like we should be like looking at him a little bit closer now. Like,
dude, I just love a chance to call out Javi. Honestly,
Yeah, that's host of the Locked On Padres for any Padres fans out there. So we'll finish up with like some redemption talk, and then of course what we've picked up. We're not going to get too deep into like the legality side of things because I think all of us very much feel the same way about not speaking on things that we are not proficiently educated on. And but I will say, if there is a class action lawsuit, I mean, there's class action lawsuits for anything nowadays, so I should hedge that a little bit. But it seems like this lawsuit has some legs. And if you look at it from a surface level standpoint, it makes sense, right? Like, redemptions that aren't properly being redeemed are frustrating. We know that's been an issue in the hobby for a while. They've tried to make strides, and this isn't unique to one specific manufacturer. So this is kind of just an issue with the system, right? Because I mean, I see it firsthand when I'm hanging out with players that they're doing their autographs. Are like, oh yeah, I forgot to do it. Or like, oh, yep, I'll get to it. Like, it's got to be frustrating when you're trying to collect autographs from all these different players, and some don't get back in time, some don't get back at all. And it creates this whole issue. And the Band-Aid to it was the redemption system. There's obviously some issues with the redemption system. The problem with it, though, is technically speaking, it's gambling to open these packs. And that's why they have to put the probabilities on the back of it. And, the issue with that is that the probabilities are skewed if what you're pulling might not end up being redeemed. So that is the whole, and I'm sure there's people more educated on the legality side of things that can speak to that. I want to just talk to Kendall about his experience right now. because I had a good redemption experience. I pulled that Jared Kelenic and I got it like a month or two later. It took a while, but like 2 months later, maybe 3, but I got it and I was fine and everything was good. You pulled a Maximo Acosta, and what's annoying about it is you are a Rangers fan, and it was a redemption. And what happened?
Yeah, so I pulled a Prime Chrome Signature Maximo. So it's like it's not your Bowman Chrome auto that's going to go for nasty money, but it's a special auto. It's out of 50. It's a guy that I have. Most of my prospect PC is in Maximo, actually, because I was huge on him when he was first coming out and they were comping him to Gleyber Torres. And then I was just like, oh, that means he's going to freaking go nuts. And now
it looks like they're right.
Yeah. Now we look at what Gleyber Torres is, and it's not as exciting. And it, so. Yeah. But anyway, you look back 2 years and you realize like, wow, some things that are said just don't really come out.
You didn't know me yet.
Yeah, that's true. We didn't have never mind. I'm just going to leave it there. But anyway, so Prime Chrome Signature Maximo, I was lit about it. You advised me to sell it at the time. I redeemed it. Because I was just like, no, this is my guy, So I've had it in there for a long time. And after a period of time, you can actually, on the status, it says like, I have another one in there that I pulled in Bowman Draft. That was a Ray Wave auto of a Diamondbacks player. I think it's De La something. I don't know. There's another one in there, but that one is pending. And the other one, the Maximo one, says request sub. So my question for you guys is, I know, like, try to take the Maximo out of it or whatever. If it's a guy you're high on and the auto is particularly a special and unique card, what do you expect in return from Topps? Like, what are they going to give you?
Yeah, and also, like, where do they get that? Right? Like, what I don't understand is like, what is the substitution?
It could be anything of same value as what their language says.
But like, my point is,
or greater.
If it's an autograph out of however many, shouldn't all of those out of however many be in packs going elsewhere? Like, how do they have extra? I know they have them, but I'm just trying to understand how that happens, right? How do you have extra cards if, based on the probabilities that you're giving out, the cards would have to be in every single pack?
Well, I think if you think about it, that I know there's some stuff going on behind the scenes here.
Of course. We won't get into that, but like,
we won't get into that. But like, I also know that there's probably other redemption stuff out there that doesn't get claimed.
That's a good point. There you go. That's a good one. Okay. That makes sense.
And they got to do something with that. So
I guess, but so the point is,
would you be happy?
You should be getting something more valuable. I think, like, for the inconvenience.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
You should be getting something more about. Well, aside from the fact that, like, you could have been hunting a Maximo. You could have purchased that Maximo Acosta redemption because you want Maximo Acosta. Like, that is the problem in itself. When you say request substitution, what happens? You just get a random card.
I'll just click. Okay. So it says, so if I press submit, it says you have requested to submit your pending redemption. When you substitute your redemption, you will receive a substitute card or product, which is interesting, of equal or greater current market value. God, that's the kicker. And
how do they base their market value?
How do they create a current market value if there is no comps on a card that's never made?
Oh man, just do it. I can't wait to see what you get.
Yeah, can you just do it for the content? If you get hosed, bro, I'll get you a card. I'll gift you a Maximo Acosta.
There you go.
For the content.
I just submitted it.
Yes. So we will keep you updated.
I've been waiting like 9 months for this card anyway. So
okay. So for the content, and I want you to open whatever you get subbed on the show. Like, okay. I don't want you. You're gonna have to hold it. I held my last auto pack of my 2019 draft. You can hold this, whatever they send you back here.
Yeah.
I'm very interested to see what it is. Look, it's at the end of the day, it's not the end of the world. You're going to get something good back. And like, we're not trying to just make a stink out of something, but like, it is frustrating in some aspects that this is a thing. And also that it took 9 months for this to be, something that you now know. when you could have maybe been. What if Maximo Acosta is lighting it up, right? Like, what if he went off last year and you didn't pick up any other cards because you're like, oh, I've got this redemption coming in, and then the redemption never came, and now his cards are expensive in value. The good news would be you would get something substituted.
Yeah, the good news would be your redemption is going to be
substituted for the same market value. But I mean, that's a unique thing in itself. So
I know Panini had a real issue with this with Lonzo Ball. I know that's not
ZO2
baseball, but he was like, I'm not signing these cards. And they put tons of Lonzo Ball autos. So when you go to shows and you see redemptions for Lonzo Ball, don't buy them no matter how cheap they are, because they are not coming in.
Lonzo ain't signing. That's pretty funny. Let's finish up last few minutes here with our personal pickups. Something that I've been doing as well has been, we were partners with our friends at eBay now. And I give out, you can see it on our YouTube, you can see it on our TikTok as well, or Instagram, basically any social media. I'm giving out investments, one big leaguer, one prospect every week. And I was talking on the big league side, Dylan Carlson, and that's a name that I really want to start scooping up. I do feel like, and I'm curious what you guys think, like with those guys, it's probably a little bit too late to get in on the Bowman. I mean, you can if you want to. Mm-hmm. I think people still really underrate the Topps Chrome. Like, you could go get a Topps Chrome numbered, colored rookie. Like, I pulled a Ke'Bryan Hayes out of 50. I'm just going to hold that. I'm really excited about it. That's a valuable card if you really believe in that guy becoming an all-star, right? Like, yeah, it's not going to be the out of this world valuable card that you're going to get with a Bowman Chrome auto. But I mean, is it a decent idea for me to just keep scooping up these Topps Chrome numbered cards for rookies I really like, or young players I really like?
Yeah, I mean, I love Topps Chrome. You got your Bowman Chrome first autos, and then right behind that, in my opinion, are the Topps Chrome rookie card autos. So, the Bowman Chrome rookie card autos are also nice too. And probably in that order. But Topps Chrome, I mean, those autos will hold their value for a long time. People still chase those big time. That's kind of the product that features a lot, like when you look at like Tatis and Acuna and Trout and those guys that, you're looking at those Topps Chrome cards specifically, or typically when you're still looking at kind of the guys that are really big right now. So I love Topps Chrome. I mean, I prefer Bowman, but
so does everyone. But it's still, it doesn't mean it's not a good buy, right?
No, and absolutely a good buy. Yeah.
I'm excited to start scooping a little bit up of that, because you can get, like, I want to invest in Ke'Bryan Hayes, but I don't want to drop thousands of dollars. Like, I can do that through Topps rookie. And if he explodes the way I think he can, I'm still going to have quite a valuable, assortment of Ke'Bryan Hayes cards. The one guy I was able to purchase though in Bowman still is this guy in Tristan Casas. And I'm really excited. I know it's a little glary and I'm sorry. But I am very excited about this card. It's a gold wave, 9.5 subs across the board, except 10 surface, which is pretty good stuff. So I'm going to send this to PSA and get it regraded, and hopefully it'll come back at 10. Tristan Casas is still one of my number one names to invest in. I don't know why he's so cheap still. Like, you see Nick York going for a ton and he's going for less still. His value's going up. This is a dude that power hit tool combination is up there with anybody in all of professional baseball. Don't know why he's not getting scooped up. That's my big name that I've been targeting right now. Kendall, what have you been scooping up? Who's some?
I spent way too much money this week. I bought an out of 5 Indy Rodriguez.
No, it's a good scoop.
So pretty excited about that. Me and T now are blood brothers again.
Yeah, you own 40% of that.
How is it?
Mine is the Sapphire version.
Okay.
How was the eBay authentication process?
They didn't do it on this one.
What?
Yeah, at first I thought it was like,
doesn't have to be more than 700.
I thought it had to be over 5.
For now, I think it's 7. I think eventually they're going to scale it out to 5.
I mean, just to be clear, I spent more than that. So like, I don't know why.
Interesting. Okay.
I expected it to come through that.
Yeah.
and it got here in 2 days. I don't know. Well, anyway, so then I also picked up some more of these.
Ooh,
some more of the O'Neal Cruises.
His cards are skyrocketing already.
Yeah.
And you know, if you've been listening to the show a while back, you could have picked his cards up for like 100 and change
for free.
I bought one in December for $90.
I was pounding on the table saying O'Neal Cruz, everybody, like he's different. He's built different and he can hit now too. Like the bat to ball is there. I'm pounding on the table. The market didn't really adjust. He goes out in spring training, hits a couple nukes, and now all of a sudden you can't find a Bowman Chrome auto for sale right now. Like they're getting scooped up.
Yeah, they're not even on eBay. Like I looked the other day and they weren't even there.
No, you can't even find them. The prices are crazy. But T, what are you picking up right now?
Nothing. I'm consolidating. I'm selling and getting ready for the 2022 product. So I'm just kind of waiting, and then I'm going to go hard after some of this stuff that's about to come out. So I did pick up my favorite player, the non-licensed version of Kyle Tucker.
It looks like it's a nudie. Like
yeah,
he's nude. Can't show it on live.
Kyle Tucker,
word Kyle Tucker,
but $10 for a Kyle Tucker rated rookie
OnlyFans edition
optic autograph card.
It's autographed. It's a Kyle Tucker autograph. I'd buy a Kyle Tucker autographed piece of paper for $10. So you know what I'm saying? Like that's a good buy.
I thought it was great. I was so excited. So like I'm a huge Kyle Tucker believer. So I go on eBay. I just type in Kyle Tucker. Then I go to newly listed almost daily just to see what's coming up for sale. And that thing popped up for $10 and I was like, I'll take it. There's no way I'm not going to buy that. So,
you know who reminds me of Kyle Tucker? This guy.
That guy is way cheap.
Too cheap.
I love that buy.
Yep. $275 for a 9.5 out of 10 out of 250. Josh Lowe. Actually, no, out of 150. Sorry, out of 150. I paid $275 for this.
Yeah, you can get a base Chrome First auto for like $40.
So the problem is this, and I'll wrap up with this little thought on him. And this is kind of the struggle with prospecting is that some of these guys are blocked. Josh Lowe couldn't have been better last year in AAA. I mean, he hit 20 plus homers. He was 26 for 26 on stolen bases. And he really was pretty good in the average department. He hit 290, if I'm remembering off the top of my head, and got on base at a good clip. Like the guy is he is a high impact all around player. I think he's not going to make as much contact as Kyle Tucker, who's like elite in that department now, but he's also going to tap into potentially a little bit more power and has a little bit more speed. So it is interesting. Like Tucker's MVP candidate type, but like Josh Lowe is an all-star potentially. And right now he's blocked. But for me, that's not a reason. Every time I talk about Josh Lowe, people are like, oh, you're not concerned about him being blocked. Kevin Kiermeier's contract, if they don't trade him, is up after this year. We know they're already trying to trade Austin Meadows. Like if a guy rakes, don't be worried about the big league situation. Either he will get dealt to a spot where he will hit and go play, or they will make room for him. They're not just going to stash.
From a card perspective, don't worry about him.
Yeah. From a card perspective, yeah. Like
if you're a fan of Lowe and you're a Rays fan, you kind of should be worried.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
he might
get
get
frustrated. You should be frustrated because he should be playing. He should absolutely be playing. But like he will get his opportunity, whether it's in Tampa or St. Pete, I should say, or not. Any final thoughts, gentlemen, before again T has to be a good father? Pick up his kids.
The kiddos. We've got some 2019 we're breaking, 2019 draft. We got another box.
Why don't you guys tell me this shit?
We just did.
We just did.
Oh, great. You tell me the same way you tell the general public.
It's not even up yet, Aram.
We'll throw that up soon. So check out our Twitter feed. And then we're loading up, man. We're loading up for the 2022 product. We've got a couple cases on the way, so it's going to be a flurry of activity on our timeline soon. So,
in my parting words is there is a base O'Neal Cruz auto for going for 575 right now. So
shut up. Like
it
bidding?
is literally on eBay. Best offer 575.
Oh, okay. But still, that's even crazy to
I'm just saying it's
Yeah.
up there for that.
That's crazy. That's crazy. I mean, the guy could be a game changer. I scooped one up right before the spike again too. So at least I got one. But look out for that guy. We'll have a few more names in the future, and also look out for some really fun breaks ahead for wild cards. I will 100% be buying a spot in that 2019 draft break as well, even though you guys don't tell me anything. Really excited for the checklist of the autographs, and we will that will probably be, I don't know if it'll be out yet, but that'll be something we talk about either next episode or the episode after that, to break down all of the autographs you should be hunting in the Bowman baseball flagship once that's announced. As always, thank you very much for spending a little bit of your Monday morning, afternoon, whatever time it is, with us and just talking baseball cards. As always, you can fire any questions you have in the YouTube replies. I've always enjoyed the positive feedback so far, and we'll talk baseball cards and more with you on Monday.